You didn't find this video. It found you. It's not by chance. It's not by coincidence. But beyond the digital, a silent algorithm, an energetic pattern, a ripple in your frequency is calling you in. Perhaps you were searching without realizing it. Not for facts, but for truth. Not for noise, but for resonance. The feeling that something doesn't quite fit with how life has appeared, sounded, or felt lately. The sense that something deeper, older, is trying to reach you through the cracks in your daily life. And now you're here. What you're about to hear isn't for the mind that needs proof. It's for the soul that remembers. This is not a lesson. It is a key. Not a key that opens outer doors, but a key that unlocks the inner corridors you have been walking through for years. Reality does not change because we chase it. It changes because we finally calm down enough to see what lies ahead. Truth does not shout. It whispers, and only those who are in tune can hear it. This moment marks a threshold, and thresholds are not meant to be analyzed. They are meant to be crossed, because when perception changes, everything changes. Not instantly, not loudly, but certainly. Even if nothing outside has moved, a different world becomes visible. This is the paradox of awakening. Your life may look the same, but you will never encounter it the same way again. You are not just observing life, you are coding it. With every thought, every belief, every emotion resonating within your energy, you are shaping the world you walk in. Ancient shamans knew this long ago, before neuroscience even found words for this truth. In ancient work with Mexican healers, the question of whether thought affects matter was not even a question, it was a certainty. The inner and the outer were never separate. Consciousness was not a lens but a projection. Jacobo Grinberg, a brilliant mind who bridged science and mysticism, delved deeply into these ancient teachings and discovered a truth that the modern world still struggles to accept. Thought, emotion, and energy are intertwined threads of the same fabric. What you think does not merely influence what you see, it creates what you see. Grinberg argued that perception physically shapes the structure of reality. Time bends, space responds, identity is restructured. The matrix is not fixed, it is a responsive system. You are not a character in this story, you are the writer of this story. If your inner world is filled with fear, resistance, or inadequacy, your outer world will reflect that back to you. Maybe not immediately, maybe not obviously, but slowly and persistently. Reality does not punish you, it reflects you, because reality is a resonance, and resonance does not judge, it only seeks balance. That is why, when you shift your inner narrative from fear to curiosity, from control to trust, the script of your life begins to rewrite itself. Grinberg said that silence is not emptiness, but an interface. It is where consciousness meets the source. When the noise of the mind is sufficiently quieted, the field begins to speak to you. He refused to seek truth in the external world, on screens or in experts. He believed that truth could be found directly in experience, and true wisdom emerged there. His disappearance remains an unsolved mystery. Some believe it was a malicious act of destruction, but those close to his work whisper something else. Perhaps it was not a disappearance. Perhaps it was a transition. Have you ever experienced a moment like this? A place you don't know but somehow feels familiar. Someone you've never met before, but it's as if you've known them in your dreams for years. These are not random occurrences. They are echoes. They are the matrix's response to your energy field. Grinberg taught that when your energy aligns, the universe shifts from randomness to a symphony. Not a storm but a dialogue. Not a labyrinth but a mirror. This is not a matter of belief. It is a matter of participation. It is about whether you are ready to sit in silence and listen, to meditate with intention, to align yourself before starting your day. Start here. Change your attention. This is the first code. It is not your effort, but your awareness that determines the outcome. Nourish your perception with beauty. Ground your body with the awareness of existence. Apply gratitude, not as a habit, but as a vibrational adjustment. The matrix listens, always. Your thoughts are not special. They are architecture. They create vibrations within the field, and these vibrations attract people, experiences, and outcomes to you. When you enter a room, you feel the energy before anyone speaks. This is not just intuition. it is resonance. Life does not speak English, it speaks energy. And the more deeply you realize that reality is flexible, the more sacred you begin to see your thoughts. You treat them not as temporary noise but as plans, like sacred designs. Most people aren't ready for this truth, because it requires radical ownership. If your world feels dark, disconnected, or cruel, maybe the problem isn't life. Maybe it's your signal. Maybe it's time to adjust your frequency. Because when your inner world changes, the matrix doesn't resist, it responds. And if external reality still feels empty to you, maybe it's just the echo of a numb heart inside you. This is not an accusation, it's a revelation. If you look in the mirror and just try to scratch the glass, nothing will change. But if you repair the one looking in the mirror with compassion, the entire reflection begins to transform. Reality is like a dream, but with a difference: it listens to you in real time. Have you ever noticed, when you are grateful, more things to be grateful for come your way? Or when you are in a bad mood, even the most sincere act of kindness seems suspicious to you? This is not magic, it is alignment. Your inner state filters every experience, interprets every event. When your inner state changes, the outer story rewrites itself. Some call it manifestation, others reflection. But let's dive deeper. The outer world reflects not just what you think, but what you believe you deserve. And these beliefs are often hidden in the shadows of the subconscious. The rules you learned as a child without even realizing it. The wounds you hide beneath your successes. The silent guilt you carry within. These are the silent architects shaping your world. If you want to transform your reality, start with small adjustments, not a revolution. Observe your reactions instead of forcing the outcome. Notice who is draining you and who is nurturing you. Each day, reframe just one limiting belief. Sit quietly with a truth that stirs discomfort within you. Cultivate a habit that affirms your worth. These may seem insignificant from the outside, but the energetic resonance they create extends far beyond what is visible. Remember, every relationship is a mirror, especially those that trigger you. Someone who disregards your boundaries, they test whether you truly uphold them. Someone who doesn't see your light, they wait for you to see it. A friend who disappears when you grow, perhaps you no longer carry the version of yourself they once knew. Life responds to every choice we make, even the silent ones. This isn't about being obsessed with positivity, it's about being honest with your frequency. When your inner world softens, aligns, and stabilizes, the outer world reshapes itself, not immediately, but inevitably. From the outside it may seem like coincidence, but it's actually harmony. Because the world doesn't start smiling at you, it was already smiling all along. It's just that you didn't notice it until you started looking at yourself honestly. Some truths don't hide, they just wait. They stand right behind the fog of assumptions, fears, and stories repeated out of habit, quietly, patiently, until you stop and really see them. Most people try to change their external reality while forgetting their internal reality. But true permanence begins from within, not just with affirmations, with frequency. Because it's not what you say, but how you say it that the universe hears. When you say, "I am rich," and you truly believe it, then the universe responds. When you say, "I am ready," and you have truly let go, then doors open. Don't you want to change the world? Then change your perception first. To change your perception, change your energy. To change your energy, change your thoughts and feelings. When you find honesty, peace, and alignment within yourself, the external world simply begins to dance with you. And this dance is nothing other than your rhythm. Eventually, you begin to understand reality is not a judge. It is an echo. It is not a system that measures you. It is a frequency that amplifies you. Every thought, every intention, every inner shift falls into the depths of the matrix like a code. And codes find their echo according to the nature of the field. There is no need to force it. All you need to do is guide it. So learn to assign great meaning to small changes, because every small awareness creates a wave that affects the entire system. Even when you blink, the world changes. If your gaze is conscious, the real magic begins here, in the transformation of the silent, the invisible. and you are no longer an observer from the outside, but the creator from within. The veil that obscures reality is not made of fabric, nor is it merely an illusion. It is an invisible web woven from unhealed wounds, unquestioned beliefs, and stories that do not belong to us. This veil filters what we perceive as real, so that the extraordinary appears ordinary to our eyes. But these veils only begin to dissolve when we are ready. You cannot tear them apart with force. They dissolve through your presence, your awareness, and your patience. Every moment you choose to stay within a feeling, when you sit with it instead of running away, when you ask a conscious question instead of reacting automatically, you pull a thread. Sometimes the first veil is emotional. The personality you say, "This is who I am," is actually a defense mechanism. The thought you defend as "this is just realism" may be another form of fear. When you observe your triggers and seek their origins instead of justifying them, you begin to see the old wounds beneath. An argument is not really about the dishes. It may be about feeling unseen. Your impatience may not be a desire for success, but a need for recognition. There are also mental curtains. These are often dressed up as certain ideas. The world works this way. People don't change. It's too late for me now. Though these thoughts may seem wise, they are often cages. You escape these cages not through argument, but through a new experience. A timeless moment in silence, a coincidence too perfect to ignore, or a message whispered to you in a dream. Cultural veils may also surround us. Norms passed down from generation to generation, accepted without question. What is success? How much joy is acceptable? When are you too happy? These invisible rules shape lives, families, destinies. But when someone stands up and says, "What if this isn't right?" an entire lineage begins to stir. True freedom is silent but contagious. And as the veils lift, the world becomes clearer. Not fragile but transparent. Symbols catch your eye. As you walk down the street, a word, a song, a stranger's gaze guides you. Life takes on a mythical, not mechanical, quality. And you realize the curtain was not just around you. The curtain was you. A temporary identity, now a veil that is dissolving. That is why healing is not an option. It is a necessity. If you want to see clearly, you must dispel the inner mists. You do not have to fix all the wounds, but you must feel them. Light can only pass through an unfiltered being. True clarity is not just knowing. It is becoming transparent enough for truth to flow freely through you. And one day you will realize that every curtain you lift is not a loss but a gain. Every resolution brings you a little closer to your true self. You see 11:11. A feather on the ground. A stranger says exactly what you need to hear. These are not just pleasant coincidences. They are coded messages from the unseen realm. When these patterns repeat themselves, in harmony, it is not chance. It is a language. And synchronicity is the universe whispering to you. You are on the path, it says. Many people overlook these moments. But those who begin to listen know, these calls are not random. They appear when your soul begins to align. These are sacred touches that bypass the mind and strike directly at your heart. The universe is not silent because it is uncertain. It is silent because it is sacred. You cannot force synchronicities, but you can become the person who is found by them. This is achieved by silencing the noise of the mind, clearing inner chaos, and taking a step toward conscious existence. When the mind is scattered, the signs become invisible. But when it is centered, even a song playing on the radio can crack open a hidden truth within. Awareness, therefore, is not merely a skill. It is an antenna. The more open you are, the more signals you receive. And these signals are not always soft, sweet, or compassionate. Sometimes synchronicity comes as conflict. When you can't drive to the meeting you need to attend. Doors close, things are delayed, plans are disrupted. But then you realize that this obstacle has set you on a whole new path. Perhaps it has led you to meet the person who will change your life. The universe doesn't ask for permission when it comes to timing. It simply rearranges things, but always with a purpose. As Carl Jung once said, synchronicity arises at the point where the inner world meets the outer world. When the psyche and the cosmos enter into a rhythmic dance, events become imbued with meaning. This is not superstition, it is symmetry. And as you begin to trust the pattern, it begins to reveal itself more clearly. First in whispers, then in voices, finally like a melody guiding you. One way to deepen your connection with synchronicity is to live with ritualistic attention. Do you keep seeing the same numbers over and over? Write them down. Are you having strange but meaningful dreams? Write them down. Record those small coincidences that stop you in your tracks, make you think, and stir your soul in a notebook. Over time, those notes will come together to form a non-linear but deeply intelligent logic. And this will lead you to trust not only the flow of life, but also your own intuitive guidance. These signs do not eliminate your responsibilities. On the contrary, they illuminate them. Synchronicities do not do the work for you. They simply show you which direction is easier to flow in, like letting the water carry you instead of rowing against the current. When life aligns with your inner flow, it unfolds before you like a melody. Your steps become synchronized over time. And when that moment comes, when you let go of doubt, when you pause in those moments when your heart beats and say, "Yes, this is right," the universe stops whispering and begins to speak to you clearly. You have felt this before, that inner knowing that bypasses your logic, but feels unquestionably right, deep down. That is intuition. It's not imagination or luck. It's the true voice beneath the noise. It speaks softly not because it's unsure. It trusts that you'll slow down enough to hear it. True intuition is a clear compass even in the midst of chaos. Its only request is that you don't run away from it or suppress it, because intuition reveals itself most clearly in silence. Perhaps that's why modern life constantly tries to keep us busy, because the more noise there is, the less we hear the voice within us. But that voice guides you, and as you listen to it, life begins to fill with discoveries instead of coincidences. The universe speaks in its own language, energy. And when you begin to understand that language, reality is rewritten. Everything you are experiencing right now may be an echo. Perhaps the echo of a suppressed desire within you. Perhaps the echo of a feeling you have rejected. Perhaps the echo of a truth you have not accepted. And here is where the choice begins: to repeat the same cycle over and over again, or to recognize the cycle and change its direction. Because sometimes a change of direction does not begin with a big decision. It begins with an awareness, with a word, with a glance, or with that random song playing on the radio. True transformation does not begin by changing the external world. It begins with quiet steps taken inward, and each step opens the doors to a synchronized universe. Now ask yourself, which sign did you overlook? Which synchronicity did you dismiss as a coincidence? And which signal can you no longer ignore? Because you are not just an observer of life, you are the one who encodes it, guiding its fabric with your vibration. Reality is being rewritten through you. And now the pen is in your hand. Are you ready to write? If you are ready, respond to the universe by writing "I am ready" in the comments. Because this is where it begins. When you silence all external noise and turn to your inner voice, the world transitions from chaos to harmony. The name of this passage is awareness. Reaching intuition is not achieved by thinking more. It is possible by being fully present here. The more firmly you root yourself in this moment, the stronger your inner guidance speaks to you. Time expands, details become clear, and that inner stirrings are no longer a whisper but a lighthouse. It guides you. Modern life drowns out this signal. Information overload, open tabs, constant distractions pull you away from your center. But when you return to silence and focus on your breath, your body, and your posture, you begin to hear it again. A feeling in your stomach, a pull in your chest, wordless but profound messages like yes or not yet. This is not mysticism, this is reality. It feels like hunger, only harder to measure. Animals live by it, children trust it. In ancient schools of wisdom, this intuition was cultivated over decades, and you remember it too. Every time you say, "I don't know, but it feels right," your inner compass kicks in. And the more you follow that compass, the more sensitive it becomes. It leads you not to the easy path, but to the right one. Sometimes it tells you to be patient, even when your ego wants to rush ahead. Sometimes it pulls you in unexpected directions, even when your mind isn't ready. But it never leaves you stranded halfway. We are the only ones who ignore it. Intuition sharpens through grounding. closing your eyes, placing your hand on your heart, writing regularly and listening to silence. These are not controls but invitations. And over time that inner current awakens again. The compass of inner guidance carries you to the very center of your life. Inner awareness and intuition nourish each other. The more you are in the now, the more intuitive you are. The more intuitive you are, the deeper your awareness. This works like an upward spiral. Then even ordinary moments begin to shine, because you are truly there, not somewhere in your mind. Think of the universe as a giant echo chamber. Every thought, every belief, every emotion you carry within you emits a frequency, and the outside world responds to it. This is not a judgment, it is a reflection. Reality is a vibrational photograph of your inner world. It is not always clear, but it is accurate. If you have a fear of rejection, life will send you people who show you that. If you vibrate with worthlessness, scarcity will knock on your door instead of abundance. This is not a punishment. It is a delicate calibration. It is a system that shows you where you are out of alignment and invites you to realign yourself. When the outer world challenges you, ask yourself this question before blaming: which aspect of me created this reflection? This is not guilt. It is pure creative power. When you look in the mirror, you change it not by drawing on it, but by healing the person who is looking. Think about your energetic signature. The more balanced, grateful, and clear you are, the more life flows. The more scattered, reactive, or fearful you are, the more everything feels like resistance. These are not just moods. They are silent conversations you have with the universe. They affect the quality of your relationships, the opportunities you encounter, and even the flow of time. Start small to reset yourself. Wake up by tuning into your vibration in the morning. Turn to your heart, not your notifications. Speak gently to yourself. Move your body with respect. These are not spiritual cliches. They are tools that reset your space. Reality bends to being, not to pressure. You will notice that the mirror has changed. People will treat you differently without you saying a word. Synchronicities will increase. The peace within you will become more dominant than the chaos outside. Life may not be perfect, but it will become a plane that responds to you clearly. This is the gift of alignment. Yes, challenges will still come, but you will no longer recognize them as disasters but as feedback. A harsh encounter reveals suppressed anger. A delay reveals a crack in your self-confidence. This is data. It comes not to condemn, but to purify. At some point you stop asking the universe for proof. Because you become the proof. You are not just observing reality. You are broadcasting it from within. Every frequency, every emotion, every thought is sent out into the universe as a plan. You are not watching a movie. You are writing the script, moment by moment. True transformation comes not from the lips but from energy. Even if the mouth says, "I am valuable," if the soul whispers, "I am not enough," the universe responds according to that frequency. That's why this is not an affirmation but a journey of vibrational honesty. Thoughts are electric. Emotions are magnetic. And when these two fields merge, they shape your field. The formal matrix Grinberg speaks of responds to who you are, and what you emit. It responds to your vibrations, not your desires. A powerful tool is conscious visualization. Your imagination is not fantasy, it is rehearsal. When you visualize your future in detail and with emotion, your nervous system aligns itself. It's as if you send out an existential invitation calling for that life, and the universe receives it. But a warning your subconscious also creates. If you have suppressed anger, shame, or fear, they also become signals. That's why shadow work is valuable. These emotions are not meant to be suppressed but brought into the light. Harmony is not perfection. Harmony is consistency. Life now takes shape less randomly and more specifically for you, because you are no longer just reacting, you are vibrating consciously. Instead of directing, you are arranging your existence like art. If this message has reached you this far, it is no coincidence. Your inner self called for it. Now you are ready not only to understand reality, but to create it together with it. If this video has awakened something in you, seal it by writing "I'm aligned" in the comments. And if you want to stay open to this kind of wisdom, like, subscribe, and stay with us on this path. Because the next message will come when the universe knows you're ready.